Hello, good people. It's Professor Wachtel. I would like to say a few things about what is so great about Martha Nussbaum's 1987 interview with Brian Magee about the philosophy of Aristotle. I can't say I've scoured the whole internet, but I've looked around a fair bit for good material that is helpful for people who are meeting Aristotle's philosophy for the first time. And Nussbaum's discussion with Magee is by far the best piece that I have found. It is really, really nice that something like an old interview like that is accessible to us through the magic of the World Wide Web. This is the kind of interview, this is the kind of piece that I wish I knew about it when I was first starting to study Aristotle, when I was first starting to study philosophy. Nussbaum really hits the majority, if not all, of the right notes in introducing Aristotle to people who are not so familiar with his works. In this short video, I'm going to touch on 4 points. There are certainly more than 4 points that one could mention that Nussbaum hits very strongly. A couple of my points are going to draw together a few of the ideas that she addresses. Number one, Nussbaum is a modern reader of Aristotle. She does not view his thought as merely an ancient artifact. Aristotle, in Nussbaum's view, is someone who still has something to say that is worth hearing about several major philosophical issues. To quote her at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds, Aristotle is flexible and open-minded, one who views philosophy as an ongoing search. Number two, Nussbaum emphasizes Aristotle's thoroughgoing naturalism in seeking to answer any question. Aristotle never goes beyond the natural world. Contrast this to Plato. Plato divided the world in two. That is, Plato is a metaphysical dualist. Reality has two levels in his philosophy. In Aristotle's philosophy, reality is one. There is no need to transcend the natural world. Stemming from his naturalism, or perhaps better, expressing his naturalism, Aristotle begins addressing any question from our experience. Nussbaum expresses Aristotle's approach to experience as follows. Our experience is an object of tremendous wonder, richness, and beauty in its own right. And actually, we never can coherently go beyond our experience. In Nussbaum's presentation, this emphasis on experience is part of Aristotle's logical thinking, that is, his thinking about the subject of logic, his thinking about metaphysics, his thinking about human nature and as part of living nature, and ultimately his thinking about ethics. Nussbaum's discussion of the Aristotelian notion of form, in contrast to the Platonic notion of forms, that is, immanent Aristotelian form, as opposed to transcendent Platonic forms, is very helpful in understanding Aristotle's definitions of the soul in De Anima, which are framed in terms of his notion of form. Number three, and this is huge, Aristotle's naturalism is neither materialistic nor reductionistic. In philosophy, the term materialism is used to refer to the idea that reality consists of physical stuff and nothing else, and therefore the laws of nature are the laws of physics. This view, metaphysical materialism, is often also called physicalism. Aristotle is neither a materialist nor physicalist. Aristotle is not a materialist. Aristotle is not a physicalist, although he is a naturalist. Aristotle's naturalism is not reductionistic. In philosophy, the term reductionistic means explaining in terms of smaller pieces. So a phenomenon is said to be reduced to a more basic level when all of its properties can be accounted for in terms of some smaller piece or smaller pieces and the laws that govern them. So, for example, materialism is a reductionistic view. In materialistic views, any observable phenomenon can be understood in a way that is more fundamental, more real, more true by examining matter and its properties and its governing laws at a finer level, that is, at a level of smaller bits. And then, according to reductionistic materialism, we are saying everything that can be said of that thing. Aristotle is not a reductionist. There are certain parts of reality, and we will encounter them in context of De Anima, that while they have a material base, that is a physical base, we cannot say everything that there is to say about them just by examining them in terms of the finer bits of which they are composed. They need to be taken on their own terms. Aristotle's non-reductionistic naturalism will really come into focus when we talk about his ideas about the nature of thinking, the distinctive power of the human soul that he discusses in Book 3 of De Anima. Number 4. Nussbaum presents Aristotle's ideas as systematic, and she is concerned with the overall coherence of his system. A systematic philosopher is one who bases higher level ideas on lower level ideas. When studying Aristotle's ethics, it is absolutely clear that he bases important ethical ideas on his discussion, on his earlier discussion of the nature of the soul. At the same time, she is aware that there are certain parts of Aristotle's practical philosophy that may not link up so well, or perhaps better phrased, may not be consistent with his more basic ideas. When Magee asks Nussbaum what ideas within Aristotle's philosophy are questionable, Nussbaum points to some of Aristotle's political ideas as very likely not consistent with more basic ideas in his thought. As I mentioned earlier, Nussbaum's treatment of Aristotle's idea of form, especially as it relates to his idea of soul, is very, very good background for reading De Anima. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful.